Thanks, Carolyn.
According to the latest figures from ASIC, in last financial year, insolvent companies with deficiencies total around $11.5 billion. Over half the companies placed into liquidation were SMEs. My next guest says that around one-third of those SMEs could, however, have been saved. And for more, Sean Wengel, Insolvency Principal at William Buck, joins us now from our Sydney CBD studio. Well, Sean, why are we seeing so many SMEs becoming insolvent?
Hi Caroline. Look, the typical story why SMEs become insolvent is, number one, they tend to overcapitalise, and number two, directors tend to take their eye off the ball, and when their business starts to show signs of decline, they don't take the right advice from their advisors and from the experts that really know how to deal with these difficult situations.
And Sean, just how many of these SMEs could have been saved?
Well, look, in my conservative view, I think there could be potentially thousands of SMEs that could have been saved if there had been some sort of earlier intervention. Then, at the moment, what we see is when we get insolvent companies come to us at William Buck, we deal with a lot of small to medium-sized businesses. It's at least 6 to 12 months too late for them to be saved. They need to really have some more earlier intervention to have any chance of resurrection.
So tell us now about Insolvent Trading's Safe Harbour recommendations. Bit of a mouthful there. Can you explain to us what they are?
Yeah, well, look, this is a great proposal that has been floated around at various levels of government for at least the last 5 years. As it stands at the moment, insolvent trading laws in Australia act as an incentive for directors to tip their company into some sort of external administration, because if directors are trading a business whilst it's insolvent, they can be held personally liable for the debts that are incurred at that time, as well as face hefty civil and criminal prosecution. So Insolvent Trading's Safe Harbour seeks to provide directors of a potentially or an insolvent company a period of time whereby they can work out a resurrection plan for the business and not face those criminal and civil prosecutions and the liability of incurring those debts in their own personal names. And
do we see other countries currently using these Safe Harbour recommendations?
Well, look, the US Chapter 11 system is in a way similar to the proposals that are floated here in Australia, in that they leave the control of the business in the hands of the directors, subject to court supervision. In the UK, they have a pre-pack system whereby deals can be worked out to sell a business or to work out a type of plan for a business before it enters external administration.
And why do you think the federal government hasn't already considered these Safe Harbour recommendations?
Well, look, it's a difficult one to answer, Carolyn. It's been discussed for a long time, but the insolvent trading reforms happen very slowly in this country. I mean, we've been hearing a lot of reports. The Financial System Inquiry report released at the end of last year, and just more recently the Productivity Commission report have again brought up this idea of insolvent trading safe harbour. But these are discussions that began at least 5-10 years ago.
And Sean, just how can SMEs stop themselves from becoming insolvent? What kind of tips can you offer them?
Look, I think the best advice is to keep accurate financial statements, understand what your business is doing financially, and if there are any signs of some sort of change in your environment, be it the business environment or the corporate environment that you work in, get the advice from the right practitioners and the right experts, like your accountant or other advisors.
And just how important is it to have a good accountant?
Oh, it's absolutely critical. I mean, my advice internally in William Buck to our business advisory clients are you can't afford not to pay for good advice. It ends up paying itself back 10 times over by avoiding situations like entering into some sort of terminal insolvency, like liquidation.
And Sean, more broadly, what kind of effect are these insolvent SMEs having on the broader economy?
Well, when you look at the fact that the deficiencies reported, that is the deficiency of assets to liabilities in insolvent companies last year, was around $11 billion. I mean, SMEs making up at least half of that. We could be talking about the contribution of about $3 to $5 billion worth of lost income and lost productivity to the broader Australian economy.
Sean, we're going to have to leave it there, but thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Carolyn.